Well, welcome to another Motivational Monday right here on See, Hear, Love around the kitchen table with my amazing co-hosts, Cheryl and Joanna. Hello, ladies.
Hey.
And a special guest with us, Petra Kuman from IJM, and you're the Director of PR and Communications?
Director of Marketing.
Oh, Marketing and Public Relations. I'm sorry, but I know.
It's all the same.
Okay.
It's all the same.
Well, we're so glad you're here, Petra, because today we're going to be talking about living boldly, which is a topic that we love, and I think for some of us we do. Well, I think we all live boldly here. Yeah. And we're also going to be discussing a really important verse in Exodus 33:14-16, which I know will encourage us and help us understand also how to live boldly, knowing the assurance of God. So it's a great verse, which I know ties nicely with your life. So thank you for being here, and thank you for helping us figure out how to live boldly, or even encourage us to live boldly even more.
You can probably teach me more.
Oh. So let's talk about that. Let's just talk around the table. So Cheryl, when I say live boldly, what comes to mind? What does that mean to you?
It's a level of bravery. It's an understanding of identity in God, and with that comes a boldness that comes from Him. Because the world will do its very best to tell you what you're not.
Yeah.
And so I refer to God's word to kind of reframe my thinking. So I think boldness for me, it really is steeped in identity, and that's where my boldness comes from.
Oh, that's good. Steeped in identity. Joanna, what about you? Living boldly.
Yeah, I have this little paper in my office, and it just simply says, what would you attempt to do if you knew you couldn't fail? And it's this idea for me, boldness is just like going for the thing, like not being afraid of the failure, just going for the thing you want or you dream of or you feel like God has asked you to do with your life.
I would say the same. I think that it's inevitable. We're going to fail. And yet I've found that sometimes in culture, we're trying to protect and sanitize that we don't fail or kids don't fail. But that's part of growing up and learning. It's like you fail, you learn, you get up. And it helps with resilience and perseverance. And so I would agree. I think it's just like go for it. And even if you fail, you keep going.
I said that. I remember one of the shows that came out in our conversation, the Get Back Up.
Yes.
Oh,
that was
it's
good.
a real anthem for us.
Get back up. And then you fall again, and then you get back up.
One of the things I had to keep saying to myself was fail forward.
Ooh, I like that.
Right? Because I think, like you were saying, Joanna, you want to shrink back. Right? When there's these big things, these big dreams that you have in your life. And I think shame is so big, right? When you decide to go for the big thing. And you fail, and there is a sense of shame that you have. But failing is inevitable. We will all fail because we are limited and we are finite. And so the bravery to just get back up and to keep going. So I had a thing posted in my little cubicle as well that said, do what you feel to do because the time will pass anyway.
Oh yeah. Say that again. So
do what you feel to do or have been called to do because the time will pass anyway.
Wow.
Yes. And there's this idea, Francis Chan, he's a pastor, missions guy, he talks about you shouldn't be afraid of failure. You should be afraid of succeeding at things that don't even matter.
I love that.
Francis Chan for the win.
Yeah, that is a good one.
And so we, out of our timidity, our fearfulness, we're not going after the things that we really care about or that really matter or have eternal purpose in the world. And we're being successful at mediocrity. I don't know.
I know, because it's safe. There's
safe.
people being safe, and that's so scary because it was never about that being safe. And somehow we've created that in culture and in schools and families about being safe. And mediocre is fine. Just go under the radar. Just don't ruffle any feathers. Just
And
keep it
fear,
cool.
it's a silent assassin, that thing.
Yeah.
It'll keep you, as you said, mediocre. It'll keep you safe. It'll keep you outside of your calling and purpose because you're so afraid to take that leap. It's crippling sometimes for some of us.
Petra, I was going to say for you. No, go ahead. Because I'm like, I was going to ask you the question, but what were you going to say to Cheryl?
Well, there's this quote by C.S. Lewis that I love, and what he says is, to love is to be vulnerable. If you don't want to love, wrap your life around with silly entanglements and silly obsessions and occupations, things that require nothing of you, and shove love in a box. But there, in that box, unmovable, untouched, in the darkness, that love will transform. It will turn into something hard, something that is not outward facing, something that is not growing. And I think fear forces you to circle the wagons.
Yeah.
Fear forces you to think small.
Yes, absolutely.
But no one wins when you think small. And I actually think that the opposite of fear is
it.
love.
That
It is.
it.
The opposite of fear
Yeah.
is love, and choosing to live in the love of God every single day.
I love no one. Girl, we just started and you got me. No one wins when you think small. We are not serving. We are not giving. We are not extending.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's good.
Yeah.
Now, Petra, it has to come from somewhere. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
you're working in a great organization where you see the worst of the worst
Yeah.
injustice, and there is no love in
There's
the
no
places that you work in.
Yeah.
There's fear and there's shame, and
Yeah.
really there's evil.
Absolutely.
What for you? You know, obviously this is resonating because you've got the passion in you. How did that all start with you? Because I think your story is really important in living boldly.
Well, there's kind of two streams, because nothing's ever clean
Yeah.
and neat. I don't know about your life, but there's never been one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the
You know,
layers.
one
Yeah.
clear
Yeah.
trajectory. So the one part is this essence of listening to your life. So when I looked back at the trajectory of my life, the moments in time where I can say that really riled me up, you know, that really got all my juices flowing, it always had something to do about an injustice being perpetrated. So I was probably one of the only kids in the 3rd grade who's reading books about the Second World War, or about genocide, or, you know, about about these big things, right? And so there was always just this innate sense that something is amiss and something needs to be set
Correct.
right.
Yeah.
Something needs to be set right. But, you know, we also realize, I think we've all realized in our own lives, that we are finite. There is a
Yes.
limit. There is a limit to my strength.
Yeah.
And I think the crippling part is when you think, oh, this is all on me. It's all my responsibility to make this right. And I had a baby a year ago. And yeah, a little boy. And I've been telling people that next to becoming a Christian, it's probably one of the most transformative experiences of my life. But what happens when you have a little person, there's two things you can do. You can either circle the wagons again and get really small and want to insulate and want to protect, because there's a world of hurt out there, and there's already so much love being poured into this little human that I feel in my own self, I don't have anything left to give. And there is so much hurt in the work that we deal with. There's a lot of hope, there's a lot of joy, but there's also a lot of hurt. And so I kind of had to go through a second phase of figuring out, how do I navigate this now? And the answer is always come back to Jesus. And He is the one who will carry the burden. Have any of you read The Hiding Place by Corrie ten Boom?
Yes.
I've heard.
Oh, yes.
It is, I'm going to say, it's
you
probably
Dutch
one.
by any chance?
I am Dutch.
Her people.
Your people.
Have you been to her house?
I've been to your house.
Was it turned into a film? Am I correct in that?
Yeah,
It was.
they did make a
They
film.
did
Yeah, they make a film. And
Yes,
Corrie
I saw that.
Tenenbaum.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Read the book. If you don't like to
It's-
read the audiobook,
Oh,
it's
Okay.
just
amazing.
Yeah.
It
I
is,
saw the film.
It is amazing. So I was born in Holland, and I've never been to her house. I've been back so many times, and I've never had a chance
So you'll need to
see
do
it.
that.
I have to do that.
So Corrie ten Boom.
Okay, so
after the
Yeah.
show, we're
yes,
going to talk about
bring
all the
us,
things.
bring us
Bring
back.
us back. Okay.
So Corrie ten Boom, this beautiful woman of faith, and is living in Holland in the 1940s. Ends up, she's hiding Jews in her home. There's someone who tips them off. She ends up in a concentration camp. And so she has been seeing these horrendous, evil things, and she thinks, I don't know what to do with it. This is too much for me to bear.
it is too much.
This burden is crippling. And she had to come to a point in her faith where she just said, I can't bear this, but you can. So God, you bear this burden for me, and I will do what I can. I will let you fill me and keep doing the work. But when this burden is too great, you take it. And that's what I had to do. This burden is too great for me. I cannot bear it on my own. Lord, you take it. And then you fill me to do what is the task at hand that I am able to do.
And I like what you said in that I'll do what I can. I think sometimes women tend to take everything on and want to solve all the problems of the world and their families.
Which is so damaging.
And work.
And then you can't, so then you
can't, and then you do nothing, and then you get crippled, and then you're like, and then you just are immobilized because there's too much to do, so then you don't do anything. You're right.
Oh, I know.
You stop.
Yeah, you feel like a failure.
Right.
Yeah. When it wasn't your task to take on, or in that capacity, right, on that level.
So how do you then? Okay, this is a really practical thing. So then, how is women with high capacity, high levels of love for the world, a sense of justice for against injustice? How do you then do what you can? Because I like to take everything on, and then I feel burnt out, and then I get anxious, and I get overwhelmed, and then I end up watching HGTV on my TV and hit
that's
Netflix.
Still okay.
I know, but there are moments where
you're just trying to zone out.
To zone out. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
let's talk about that, because I think that's a really practical thing that we can all learn. What do you do?
Okay, well, I'm so curious about what you're going to say, but can I just be transparent and say, I almost did myself in because I took on a superhero complex.
Absolutely.
So angry about the injustices in the world, wanting to speak to sex trafficking and speak to this and speak to that, and I found myself like just overwhelmed, confused, and disoriented, girl, and then just feeling like an absolute failure because I took on all of these things and I couldn't keep all of them.
I know.
And so I had to recognize that I am part. It was actually a humility issue, to be honest. I'm just going to flip the script here. I had to realize that you are not the answer. You are part of the road to the answer. I am the answer.
Exactly.
You're just facilitating my love, and you're part of a large. So it was just realizing that,
Exactly.
That's good.
I don't know if that makes any sense.
And is that working? Because I mean, you do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. There's things that keep me up at night. Like I literally do like crazy stuff. Like I talk to prostitutes, and I'm on the corner, and I'm doing what I have to do. But I can't take it all on. And I had to realize that there are other people that are sacrificing far greater for the same cause of justice.
But is that their call, right? What is your call?
Exactly.
What is your role to do?
Exactly.
Because you can't go beyond where your faith is.
Exactly.
You can't run ahead of where the faith of the Lord has led you.
And I'm always just kind of going with my spirit here. I just want to echo that for someone else that just maybe logged in. We are part of the answer. You are not the answer.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. I think, a lot of times in ministry I've seen the Messiah complex, or you call it the Savior complex, and it's on us to do it.
Well, this is exactly what the scripture we want to bring to the table today is talking about, right?
Yeah.
Can I pull it out?
That was good. You know what? I'm looking at him like, and you segued it well. And share the verse I mentioned earlier in the show, Exodus 33, 14 to 16, and it's a perfect way to kind of understand this living boldly and boundaries and realizing we're not the Savior or should be, and we're not the Messiah or should be. So let's read it.
So context.
Yes.
Does somebody else want to give context?
You can give context, Joe.
In short, Moses, he's leading the Hebrew people. They've left Egypt. They're in this wandering period because of a lot of their own actions. And they're in this wilderness, and Moses is supposed to lead them. He's supposed to be the hero in this story. And so we come in at Exodus 33 verse 15. This is NLT. It says, "Then Moses said," he's speaking to the Lord, to God, "If you don't personally go with us, don't make us leave this place. How will anybody know that you look favorably on me and on your people, if you don't go with us?
Wow.
For your presence among us sets your people and me apart from all other people on the earth. Your presence amongst us sets us apart from everyone else." So like we're talking about this
Wow,
idea of
heavy.
like who, you know, the hero complex and
That
carrying
is-
this burden and what is really ours. Like
Yeah.
Moses is he's got 1 million people to lead in the middle of who knows where, desertous plains.
Yeah.
And he's saying, if you do not come with
Yeah.
us, we cannot go.
Yeah.
We will not
We
go.
will
It's
not go.
stupid for us to go.
Exactly.
And
It's
here's,
such a
here's
thing.
what's like banging my heart right now. Good intentions are not calling.
Exactly.
Good intentions are not calling.
They will burn you out.
Yeah, but and we could be well intentioned and want to do something, but we need to have the heart of Moses.
Exactly.
God, if you have not called me, if you are not in it, if this is not you, I don't want to go.
No, exactly.
That's really bold for him. No, again, living boldly,
is.
like to actually say that to God,
Yeah.
it's like, whoa, Moses, right? Like, I mean, that's what he says. If you do not go with me,
We don't
Yeah.
want to
then
go.
we don't want to go.
Yeah.
You know, I think that is
And then,
bold.
so the Lord replies, and they have this amazing relationship. Like the Lord
Yeah, I
and
love
Moses
it,
have
yeah.
this
Yeah.
relationship like
back and
none of
forth,
us
yeah.
will ever have,
Yeah.
unfortunately. On this side of heaven, we will not know the Lord in this intimacy. But he says, I will indeed do what you've asked, for I look favorably on you, and I know you by name. Now, that part is true of all of
yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Like that the Lord is saying to him, I know your name.
Yeah.
And like, I will do what you've asked. Like this bold prayer that
Yeah.
you're asking of me.
Yeah.
This demand, really.
Yeah.
Like, hey God, remember you brought us out here in the middle of nowhere. Like I cannot do
Yeah.
this without you.
Unless you.
Yeah.
And it's this tricky thing where sometimes I think we get into things where we make a plan and then we like ask God to bless it rather than like seeking the Lord first
Yeah.
before we
Exactly.
make the plan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're in the middle of the plan. They're in, and most of us are in the middle of the thing.
We always are.
We've probably
Yeah.
started somewhere and the finish line hasn't come because
Yeah.
we ain't dead yet.
Yeah.
And so we're in the middle and we're like, hold on, like where are you? What's going on?
Yeah.
Are you still here?
Yeah.
Will you go with me? Yeah.
Yeah, and Petra, I think that like what Joanna's saying, what we're saying, obviously is resonating with you.
Yeah.
But it's a verse that you came with because of the work that you do at IJM.
Yeah.
That's their verse. It's your verse, and
it
it's their
is.
verse too.
Yeah.
Why is that? Why has that been sort of like a foundational anchor verse for you?
Well, let me dial it back for 1 second. So, I am horrible with song lyrics. Just know this. I never know all the lyrics of a song. But I do know this one line from one song, and don't even ask me about the meaning of the rest of the song. But there's this song that says, I want to kick at the darkness until it bleeds daylight.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
We know the song?
Yes, we do know the song, and I'm actually now singing it.
Right? But
Get ready, people.
the kick at the darkness
Love
until
that.
it bleeds
Love this
daylight.
song. Yep.
So there is a great darkness out there. So IJM, we work in the developing world to help protect victims of violence, and the type of violence we're talking about is slavery, sex trafficking, sexual abuse of children, gender-based violence.
Yeah.
Those are dark things. And I have the light of Christ within me. I have Christ in me. God is light. So I have to go into these dark places, but I cannot do it alone. I will not do it alone because the only way that I can do it is if I have God with me, because He is light. And the light is always greater than the darkness, and the light will always overcome the darkness, but I cannot go unless I'm going with the light that casts away the darkness. And so that has been a lesson for me, is that I will not go unless you go with me and you take me there.
And so what do you think is the difference between, like, I know that IGM is a Christian-based organization.
Yeah.
And there are lots of political groups or other types of groups that are governmental organizations or whatever that are working in the same kind of field.
Yeah.
But what is the Christian difference? What is the I will not
What
go
is
unless
it?
you go with
Exactly.
me, God? When God goes with you, what changes?
One of the great differentiators of IJM is that we consider ourselves a community of spiritual formation. And one of the key tenets of our work is prayer. And we know that prayer moves mountains, and that prayer moves the hearts of rulers and of people in authority. And so every day at IJM from 8 to 8:30, every staff member has a time of personal stillness where that staff member on their own is seeking the Lord to be strengthened and to be filled. And then every day from 11 to 11:30, we have a corporate prayer time. And that is where I really see the rubber hit the road, because there are cases that have been pending sometimes for years. And And that is when we need to call on the Lord and to ask him to break through and to make a miracle happen. You know, there are cases where we've gone in alongside police, because we can't ever work without local authorities. We've gone into places with local authorities, and the brothel owner or the slave owner has been tipped off. And so all the victims of sex trafficking or slavery, they're gone. And so you need the Lord to help you, right? You need to call out to the Lord and say, I know that there are victims out there who are waiting. Will you make a way? Will you show us?
And you know, the other thing that I love about IJM, I love that question, Joanna, what is that sort of Christian difference? Where other organizations, and I love this about you guys, where other organizations just want to sort of stop the whole activity of trade and sexual trafficking, you guys are not preventative but transformative.
Exactly.
I see this huge move to pray for the hearts of the owners of the brothel, building relationship with them. It's just a different approach, and seeing the hearts change as well, right?
One thing that we think is kind of our unique thing that we bring to the table is justice system transformation. So we understand that there's a big justice pipeline that is broken. And so we hear public justice system, that's hard to latch onto, right? But that's the lawyers, that's the police, that's the social workers, and there's gaps all along that system. And what we want to see is to see the entire system transformed so that everyone is safe. What we've seen is this concept of a credible deterrent. So we've worked in places like the Philippines, where when we started working, minors were being sold for sex quite prevalently. At the end of 4 years of IJM casework, we saw a 79% decrease in the availability of minors for sex in Metro Cebu, the Philippines. 79%. The thing is, we didn't have to help police arrest and prosecute every single brothel owner on the street. All we had to do was strengthen the system and help prosecute a couple of those perpetrators. And as a result, the entire system started transforming because other brothel owners and other pimps and other traffickers started saying,
it's not worth it.
It's not worth it. That's called a credible deterrent.
That's good.
It's
That's
not
good.
worth it to
Because the ROI here is not good.
It's not good.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right.
And
Amazing.
so, and that is when
incredible.
you see an entire community change, because an entire justice system is now functioning.
Okay, our time is like going, so it's already whoa. But before we finish up the show, I want to make sure that our viewers know how to support you. We're coming up to Christmas, and I know that there's a way that we can live boldly. We can support the transformational work that you're doing. How can we get behind IJM? You know, you're one of our friends and partners with See Hear Love, and we love this partnership. So we want to do all we can to support the work you do and what you do. So what's coming up for Christmas that we can really get behind?
So I know that many of us feel like there's a lot of consumer drivenness.
Oh yeah.
Is that a word? Drivenness?
Yeah. It is today.
It is now. Behind Christmas. And so, you know, kind of there's, I don't know about you, but for me sometimes at the end of Christmas and you've gotten all this stuff. You think, what do this is a lot of stuff. I don't have all the room in my house to put this. It's amazing, beautiful, gifts are great.
Some of it not.
But, so we have an IJM Canada gift catalog, and that's a gift that makes a difference. So that's a gift that makes a difference to help us rescue victims of trafficking, of slavery, of sexual violence around the world. I know we don't have time to share a few survivor testimonies, and there are so many. So
well, we can do that on our blog post online. Yeah, on our website.
Because I can't even tell you how transformational some of these stories are. We had one survivor who was rescued out of probably one of the worst situations of sex trafficking that our team in Calcutta has ever seen. And let me tell you, this is living boldly, because only months after she'd been rescued did she go back in with IJM social workers and her police officers to find her friends who were still trapped. And so she led the team to places that she knew girls were hidden. It was behind this panel that was made to look like the rest of the wall.
Yeah.
And she brought police and IJM there and helped rescue these girls.
Wow.
That's the rescued becoming the rescuer.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff.
That's living
Amazing.
boldly.
That is living boldly.
Sure is.
That is living without fear, because she had to go back in. She chose to. She chose to go back into that place of darkness.
Yeah.
To bring out other girls into the light.
Yeah.
And those are the stories of transformation that we see
Yeah, amazing.
when someone gives a gift through the IGM gift catalog. It's not the only
incredible.
thing.
Yeah.
It's not the only thing that people
That
can do.
is incredible.
But at Christmas time, when you're really busy and you're feeling hectic, this is a really quick and easy gift that you can give that says, I care about transformation, I care about living boldly, and I care about the nearly over 40 million people trapped in slavery today.
And there are people we all know who have too much crap in their house. They don't really, like, you have to do gifts at Christmas, but you don't really,
I know.
you don't really want
Need
or
it, you don't
the
need
thing.
it,
But
right.
more than that, there are people we all know who would find this so meaningful
Yeah.
as a receiver of this kind of gift.
And here's one of those amazing ways we were circling back to being part of the answer.
Yeah.
You can't travel to Calcutta. You can't maybe do all of those things, but in the comfort of your home,
Exactly.
you can be part
You
of
can.
the answer.
Yeah.
Or like,
Yeah.
you know when you go Christmas shopping and you come home with like a few things for other people, but you also come home with things for
Yes.
yourself?
Okay, I'm guilty.
I was going to say, Melinda,
She was giving me the eye.
It's the poster child, honey,
So like,
for shopping.
Melinda, you could do this. This could
It's
be the
true.
gift to
I
yourself.
love this.
Shopping.
I
Put
love
that
it.
In
under
your
her.
pajamas.
I know.
You can buy this
in your
gift for
fuzzy
yourself.
slippers.
Totally. No, and you know what? I am so thankful for this work. I love that you've got this live boldly, because I mean, we all can do something.
Yeah, we can.
And I think, especially as we come up for Christmas, what a great gift
Yeah.
to give our family, to give our children, to help them understand, have a conversation, to give our girlfriends, because sometimes I'm like, what do I give, my girlfriends? This is perfect. So I know we're going to have that
Or for a
information.
group of girlfriends to get together.
To get
and
together and do
Exactly.
it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I think we're going to have all this information on our website so that they can click, on. It'll be make it easy. We're going to have some more blog posts because we do want to hear more stories.
Yeah.
I know there's stories of Sani. You having an update on, I think, Cassie for us. There's so many things you guys are doing.
Yeah.
So thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to IJM. Great organizations that's doing great work and like living boldly in the world
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
So thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Cheryl, Joanna, thank you too. Thank you for
Awesome.
sharing your thoughts
Thank
as
you for
well.
all you do.
And to you viewers, thank you for joining us here at See Hear Love. Connect with us at seehearlove.com. And if you want to make a difference and live boldly, please go onto our website and click on the button that says IJM and Gift Catalog. Read our blog post, because again, this show is about transformation. This show is to encourage you to live boldly and to make a difference in the world.
Right.
And so we want you to do that right now. Join us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to know all about what's happening here. And again, thank you for your support to us. We love you, and always know that you're seen, heard, and deeply loved by God. Bye.